Ryan will be moderating. Myself, James, Corey, and Paul.
Yeah, perfect. So thanks for attending. Let's hope it's been a great retail fest so far, and we really want to talk into how brands are increasing their basket size and making more revenue and ultimately more profit per website visitor. So I thought we'd start with a little bit of context around Paul and Hooked Online. Can you tell us how you got started, what tech you use, and how the business has been, how long you've been in operation? You obviously started off in eBay, is that correct?
Yep. So I'm Paul from Hooked Online. I started on eBay 18 years ago. No one sort of bought or trusted websites at that stage, and it was self-taught, no idea. Sold fishing tackle. The reason I chose that category is it's a consumable. 3 years later, so 15 years ago, I was one of the very first Neato customers. They built us a website, and as things have evolved, Catch was then the next marketplace, Kogan, and then we had a gazillion other ones, and half of them are folded. We're across all the marketplaces. We've got 20,000 SKUs. We run a very small, lean team here on the Gold Coast. There's 4 of us, 3 full-time, 1 part-time, and that's about it.
Yeah, fantastic, man. So let's get straight to the first burning question then. How do you increase your revenue per customer? What are some of the strategies or the tech, or how do you sort of view that?
Well, we're actually pretty lucky or fortunate because we were the original people to bring brand name fishing gear online. Obviously, we had COVID that went crazy for us, and then things sort of started slowing down. So we actually, about 12 months ago, rather than increasing our SKU and spending more money, we started bundling. As an example, we got 100 listings for sinkers, so we didn't have to spend any extra money in the way of... we created a 2-pack, a 3-pack, a 6-pack, and a 10-pack. So all of a sudden we've gone from 100 listings of sinkers, and that could be hooks or whatever, to 500, which when people are searching on marketplaces especially, we start to own, instead of 10% of the real estate, all of a sudden we own 50% of the real estate. And there's no extra cost because you're carrying the stock anyway, but you're just creating more listings. And that has absolutely gone crazy for us. But it is a lot of hard work to create a bundle in the way of, there's no point having in your title 10 packs of whatever. The hardest work is actually collaging the image. So when someone's scrolling on their phone looking for sinkers, they can see that value proposition of, they can see 2 packs, 3-pack, 6-pack, 10-pack. And we created an Excel spreadsheet with whatever you call it. So we import the SKUs, so 100 SKUs get imported. It knows the cost price, it shows us the GP. Then it shows the cost for a 2, 3, 6, 10-pack. And then we'll tweak the percentage off those packs, still maintaining a GP that we're happy with. So, that's...
Okay. Yeah, so you're trying to keep margin, but having those bundles there.
Yes.
And marketplace has been a massive kind of unlock for you in terms of growing revenue.
Absolutely.
Without spending any more to acquire customers. The
Correct.
Marketplace is obviously something that's worked well for you.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah. And Maropost help with that? How does Maropost sort of integrate?
Well, the first thing we had to do, if anyone's starting out, I absolutely highly recommend you do your weights and dimensions. With 20,000 SKUs, it was an absolute nightmare. A little cheat sheet, because you've got to measure height, width, put it on the scales, put it back into Neato, and it was just a nightmare. What we ended up doing was we got a little mobile table with wheels, and we put a builder's square on there, so we could just slot the product in, and we could see 10 by 5, use a ruler by 3 centimetres, whack it on the scales, and we were actually using a sticky note, so I'd do that, and then the other guy behind me would have another table with a laptop, and he'd start entering all that in. Without that, with your bundles, as we all know now, Australia Post is so strict. If you can't just guess your weights, because if you just say, okay, an average weight's 100 grams, so a 6-pack's going to be 600 grams, it's going to go into your next band, but the product might be 55 grams. So you have 5, it gets to 265, whereas if it's actually 50 grams, it's 250, so you're in that band. So in that spreadsheet as well, it would calculate what the shipping costs, because we're across so many channels. Some we charge the actual postage, others we include the so-called free postage. So, yeah, that was such a lot of work, but we could create in a week, 400 or 500 bundles that we did bundle very early on in the piece, but it was a pain, as in you'd have to do those weights and dimensions manually, and to do that to 20,000 products is just going to take forever. That said, obviously, you're not going to bundle electric motors or $1,000 knife sharpeners. Not many people are going to buy 10 of them. But yeah, weights and dims, mega important, and it just creates that value.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, sorry, the question was, where do we do it? Waffling on there. Yes, because we got the weights and dimensions in Neato, that's all managed there. Back to the collaging of the images, which is the most difficult, time-consuming part of the puzzle, we actually outsource that to a third party and actually an Australian business, which I'm happy to talk about after if anyone wants to have a chat about who we use and how we do it.
Yeah.
Just to complement that, I think what Paul does really well is he leverages the integrations that Neato has. We use Cresco as a partner, so it unlocks all of the different marketplaces you have there within the Neato family, but understanding where his customers are and pushing the right types of bundles to the right marketplaces really manages the right narrative. Because all marketplaces kind of look the same to everyone else, right? But people shop where they shop. And understanding what the buying behaviors are, bringing that data back into Neato to understand how to maximize your inventory is kind of key to that point. And Paul, I'd say, is unique in the way he drives his business, but it's fantastic in the way he understands the way to apply that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really cool thing with Neato, obviously. It doesn't matter where the order comes from. It pushes in, we do the pick slips, we scan, and happy days, it's gone. And on that marketplace, there's some people... I listened to a panel yesterday, and there was a gentleman there, and he was carrying on about how difficult it is on marketplaces and how he can't get on, and why would he go on and pay those extra fees. He was happy just being on Amazon and eBay, and I spoke to him afterwards, and I said, you're just mad to not embrace all the marketplaces. You've got to be where the shoppers are, because you've got people now, especially with Woolworths and Everyday Market, and Bunnings. Bunnings has been amazing for us, which, really, who goes to Bunnings to buy fishing gear? Bunnings is actually, eBay's our biggest marketplace, of course, followed then, it's a sort of a week-to-week thing between the Big W marketplaces or the Woolworths marketplaces and Bunnings. The biggest standout on the Big W ones, we sell the Jarvis Walker brand, which has been around forever. It's always been a Kmart or a Big W product. It's very cheap, entry level. It's actually our highest margin of all the brands we sell. And I think there's a question coming later, but on the Big W or the Woolworths, because they own a few, it's all these Jarvis Walker bundles, because it can genuinely, people know because they've been buying it from Kmart or Big W. We're always marginally cheaper. Our pricing strategy on that is if Kmart's $9.95, we're $8.95. And then if you do buy 10 of them, it's probably going to be $74.95. So people know that they're paying $10 for this lure or packet of sinkers, and they see, shit, I can get 10 for $8, free shipping. Because of our weights and dims, we know that it's going to fit in the extra small satchel. So yeah.
Okay, thanks, Paul. In terms of sort of driving basket size, we've spoken about bundles, but how do you address sort of cross-sells, post-purchase, upsells? Do you do anything like that?
We can't do that really on the marketplaces.
Okay.
And our website, again, because we've been going so long, 70% of our website orders are repeat customers. We've got 370,000 customers in our database, which is another cool thing with Neato. For every order that comes in, there's a little number underneath the customer's name. So it could have 2, which means they've done 2 orders. I'd be happy to show you, but I can't show you on the screen or anything. We've got one customer that's done 258 orders with us. Can't help himself.
Yeah, and so tell us a bit more about that loyalty then, because that's obviously another way that you can increase revenue per customer,
Yeah, well,
AOV, because they've shopped with you before.
Right from the very start, our mission was to be 110% correct 120% of the time. So we pick, pack and post with love. To try and get extra customers, like I said, once they shop on the website, you're already at least 10% better off anyway. So we include a free gift because we can see in Nido that it's their first purchase.
Yep.
And then sort of randomly, if it's their 6th purchase or 10th purchase, we might throw in a 10% off voucher. Highly frowned upon from all the marketplaces, and I think it actually breaches their terms of use. We send a free gift and a 10% off, and it's really, we handwrite. We've got it printed. We use whatever it is, Vistaprint from Cheap As. So it's just a little flyer that says "G'day," and then we'll put Bill, John, Mary, whatever, handwrite that on. We hope the little extra is of use. Thanks for supporting a true blue Aussie business. Visit our website, hookedonline.com.au for 10% off. And then we change that code so we can monitor it. We do run different codes for different marketplaces so we can monitor it. And it's absolutely amazing. I don't actually really know the statistics of how many people come back straight away, but sometimes you'll see an order come through and it's a really weird name. And then 4 or 5 days later, it's, there's that weird name again. And you can see it's order number 2. And they spent $10 on eBay or $20, and they've just bought, because we offer free shipping over $100, so they've hit the $105 to get the free shipping.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, nice one. I think let's get James involved in the conversation here a little bit. But yeah, how does PayPal assist with growing that basket size or increasing revenue per customer? We heard from, was it your CEO at the start of Retail Fest around some statistics there and the buy now, buy in 4. How does buy in 4 help Paul with his business in generating more revenue?
Yeah, I think, I guess, starting off by ensuring that you have, the payment type that someone's looking for is on site. Having that PayPal there is you're giving that, certainty to someone who's maybe got security risks, the first time to the site. So we've got them there. They're staying on site. I think, the next step is by offering that PayPal Pay in 4, you're looking at an average order value of going up 62% for an SMB from someone being offered a Pay in 4 option from PayPal.
So 62% increase?
Yes, yeah, on the average order value.
Okay.
Yeah.
Using PayPal Buy in 4?
Yeah, yeah. So having that second button there and having it offered, you definitely see an increase. So you're increasing your basket straight away. You can go that extra step, which we highly recommend, is upstream messaging. So as someone presses on that lure, I'm going to use $10 because it's easier for the maths. $10 they'll see below this is 4 installments of $2.50. So they see it before they get it to basket. So they're saying, okay, I can do that. So they may go up to the 10 instead of 1 or 5, and that's 16% again on your Pay in 4 already increase that you have there. So you're really giving the customer that option, allowing them to pay it off over time, interest-free, and then driving them to obviously come back because they have used it, but also encouraged to buy more because they're seeing that they can pay it off in that instalment.
Okay, fantastic. And Paul, what does the merchant sort of journey look like with PayPal and utilising that option? Do you notice any difference? Do you notice an increased AOV? Do you not get paid until PayPal gets paid?
Well, PayPal's instant, as in you can withdraw the money pretty much the same day. Might take a day or 2 to come into the account, but we've actually got ours automated that I think it's once a week or twice a week. It always leaves like $500 in there in case we've got to do refunds. We offer all the buy now, pay later. Sorry, PayPal, but you'd be mad not to, because again, it's like the same point I made before. You've got to be where the shoppers are. If someone's got a Zip Pay account or an Afterpay account that they use all the time, or Klarna, why would you not offer that? Because someone will get to your website and want to spend $100 or whatever and go, they don't offer Zip Pay. They'll just go to another website and find it there. The best thing about PayPal Pay by 4 is there's no actual extra fee. So I'm not sure what category everyone else is in, but I know that Afterpay and Zip Pay can be quite expensive. I don't know. We're very fortunate. We were in the first 10 customers. I still get a hamper every year from Afterpay and Zip Pay. because they were mates that I sort of met at these type of events that started those companies. They're now gazillionaires. I wish I had invested in them. So our fees are really, really low, but I would not have all of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to PayPal. That's amazing because it's free. Well, apart from your normal standard PayPal fee.
Yeah.
We just want to make sure we're number one up the top. So,
Yes.
Yeah, have the others, but we're number one.
And how early in that journey, in that customer journey? So do we have that on the collections pages? Do you have that as a banner on the home page? Do you have it on the product page? Or what page of the journey do you suggest? And Paul, I'll get your take on that afterwards. But how early do we start calling out buying for?
So we can do it at the point of where they've clicked on the product. So you've got the price of the product, then underneath you have the pay in full value that you're paying in the installment. And then when you get to checkout, you can have it there as well. So it shows the total amount is $100. It will show you 4 payments of $25. So you can have it at both parts of the journey, which we highly encourage because it does, it interacts with the customer that wants to use BNPL, makes it clear what their installments will be. And then once they get to actually paying with Pay in Full, they're then shown what their payment schedule is again of that breakdown over time. So we really show that customer the value in using it and then using it over, that pay today, the first installment, and then every 2 weeks you're paying the next quarter, which then, encourages people to spend more again.
Yeah, fantastic. We'll open the floor up to questions in a minute. Has anyone got any questions whilst we continue up here for a bit? Norm.
I don't know if you said that deliberately before about what you put in your boxes, in your packages when you're fulfilling marketplaces, but that sounds fascinating to me.
It's true.
Yeah, I think it sounds like because I'm sure they wouldn't want us to do that, but you have success with that.
Oh, look, mate, we've been doing it on eBay for 17 years. We've never been pulled up for it, to be honest. And like I said, because we've used so many codes over the last 15 years to get people to the website. There's some of those codes. Hooked 10 is one of them. It's done like hundreds of thousands of dollars. Unfortunately, I don't know if in Nido you can actually see the lifetime of it. Do you know what I mean? When the first code was used or whatever. Unfortunately, that code you can also get now on if you Google hooked online discount code. But it's been there for so long, we just sort of keep it. But we also have it as a one-time use only. So that's where we change it up predominantly for our repeat website customers. We'll change the code to whatever, Hook 10 or, I don't know, Christmas 10. And, we can see then... And generally that then... we only send that then with website orders to repeat customers. And it's funny, they'll use that then on... We sell, like, electric motors at $2.5 grand. And that's a substantial saving. So... and again, there's no real way of monitoring it apart from sort of gut feeling. Did this guy have that on his wish list or in his cart for the last month or 2 or 3 and waiting for that $250 discount?
Yeah, fantastic. Why you're one of Maropost or Nido's first customers, is that correct?
Yep, I was there when there was Ryan, Jason, and Scott Anderson. There was 3 people, and they had an office about the size of a lunchbox, and just grown with it. I mean, that there's, when we first started, it was so easy. eBay, we just sort of self-taught. We learnt as we went. We took shitty photos with a 3.2 megapixel camera. You couldn't shop on a phone, and that's where Nido is, constantly evolving, as we all know, especially with AI and shit now. So, excuse me. Things just keep changing so quickly, and there's some people that sort of love to hate Nido, and they go, we're going to do this, we're going to use Shopify or build our own site with WooCommerce. Man, you'd want to have some serious tech expertise. And like I said, with everything changing, Nido's they're well aware of, when Amazon was first coming to market. It's all exciting for us. We want to onboard. But where do you begin? Like, you're not going to set up an account in Amazon as an example, or Bunnings, and manage it through there. You need to have that back end that's managing everything.
Yep.
So basically, with anything new that Nito designs,
Yep.
we're aware of it, and it's up to us if we want to implement that or use that new product.
Yep.
And it's pretty much a whole system in one. Like we find it extremely good value. We don't really have. I don't think we've got any other add-ons or plugins and stuff.
Yep.
Apart from normal things like Mailchimp, Zendesk. But yeah, it's been brilliant for us.
Corey, why are retailers and e-commerce business owners starting to look to Maropost? What's your feedback? What's the feedback from them to you about changing to Maropost or utilising Maropost?
Well, I think you just heard the story. I think we have grown and evolved. We started simple, but we started by retailers. So the idea was how do we simplify the back office? And I thought we were going to get through one pitch today without hearing the word AI, but now that it's been said, I'm going to go ahead and continue to pile on that. But I think as we continue to grow, we looked at how we could optimize, how we could make more money for the basket, and that's kind of been our focus. So when we look at merchandising strategies, when we look at recommendation strategies, people are buying in one of three places. It's getting people to your site or back to your site, it's on site, and then it's in your marketplaces. And I think Nito's taken a very holistic approach of looking at all three of those elements across your merchandising strategies, communication strategies. Sorry, this isn't going to be a sales pitch, by the way. But understanding how you apply it, how you decrease customer friction, and that's been the point. Bundles was an early one on before we got into the merchandising and search capabilities, because bundles allow you to save margin. They allow it to make it easier and to grow your cart. And I think that's an easy one to look at. And it's an easy one to push and democratize across your different marketplaces. But I think understanding where people are coming in, what's your site bounce rate, where people are falling off, and where are you spending, because those Google AdWords are getting expensive, and they're just going up. So if understanding where they're coming on, if they're coming on your PDP or your category page, how you're capitalizing that. And where Nito works really well is we understand all of those on-site behaviors from clicks to browses to views, so we can understand and push back into your recommendations of, hey, we see these people are buying crankbait, and these lures, and we need these sinkers. And so if they're buying this, maybe they'll fish this. And so here's our recommendation based off of what you're currently buying, or we know you go through 3 packs of sinkers a weekend.
I'm really looking forward to you guys getting that all.
I was going to say, that weird name you couldn't pronounce is Arashiro. That's the one that keeps coming back and buying all the lures, because I'm a terrible fisherman.
No, I'm looking forward to that, because we've paid for stuff,
Yep.
And you got to learn it. It's shit. So you turn it off, you waste your time and your money. You got to teach train your staff as well on how to upload the information. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to. And I mean, I know this has been a work in progress for a little while now. But I also have heard that as soon as you guys come up with, or you think you're about to launch, everything changes, and it's sort of back to the drawing board again.
It's growing, it's evolving. Over the last year, I think you've seen a fundamental shift in Nito and what Maropost is doing. We had a customer conference on Tuesday this week where we had a lot of people come in and talk about it, and the roadmap is clear. We hit 80% of what we pushed out for the last roadmap, and that included a major platform shift. So we're evolving, we're growing. We've completely revitalized our support system to make sure that questions are being answered faster. We've kicked up a new AI search engine called Galaxy that's allowing answers to be self-found, so you can push through it and teach yourself. But we're also pushing more knowledge, because if people aren't using the tool, or if it's hard to use, they're not going to stay. And for us, bring someone on, retain them, teach them, give them the tools they need to be successful, so that they can continue to grow. Because our business is find small businesses and grow with them, push them out. Because there's a lot of big businesses out there, but the Salesforce and Adobe's and the guys that are out there, I won't say the other names because I think they're here, but they're chasing a dollar. Like I said, we are too, but our dollars are based on you guys staying happy and staying with us, or you don't stick with us for 15 years.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Do we have any more questions from the audience around sort of how brands are increasing basket size or driving more revenue? You have a question? Oh, yeah.
I got a question around eBay and like SEO sort of stuff. How do you find the sales performance of bundles being individually listed on eBay? So how you said you flood the marketplace, you get a whole heap, 10-pack, 20-pack of sinkers, compared to a single listing, high converting with all bundles listed as a drop down. Because we used to find different industry, similar concept though. Our single listings that had multiple bundles where they get lots of sales on. You can see the sales history were pushing up further on eBay. How do you find something like that compared to the multiple bundle theory on multiple listings?
Great question. I don't even know how to answer that, to be honest. We use a third party that does all our bundling. So they actually changed the SEO title. And again, across all the different marketplaces, there's different requirements. Like Bunnings is really weird. We've always, in fishing rods, to me as a fisherman, the most important thing, people are looking for a 6 foot, 6 foot 6, 7 foot, whatever, fishing rod. So our titles always started with 6 foot or 7 foot. Then the brand name. Bunnings needs you to have the brand name first, which I'm not actually sure if Nito does that. That's why I'm using a third party, because you can't have two titles, can you? No. So that's why we use a third party. Because again, to change 20,000 titles is, where do you begin? And AI is not that clever that you can just get it to do that, because it makes shit stack of mistakes. Sorry? Okay.
But yeah, it was more about like the bundles. If you got like 50 bundles, 10 packs, 20 packs, size 8 or 6. Do you find, have you ever tried one have it drop down one?
No. No. Actually we do, because that was originally, because no. And eBay, I was on the eBay seller panel for many years, and they've disbanded it now, but that was always the thing on eBay, is to have your multi-SKU or your variation listing, because you get higher sales, it looks better. But things have changed again, because people aren't really shopping on their laptop. I think our traffic's about 74% is on mobile. So, and it's not like 18 years ago where people are going on there and browsing. They might be looking for a fishing rod, and then they go into your store and they spend an hour looking at all the different bits and pieces. The people today are time poor. They want a packet of sinkers or a fishing rod. They get their phone, or, we see it on the weekends as our biggest, it's where our lure sales spike. Someone's either on a boat, they've lost their favourite lure. They're buying the same, in our category anyway. That's why it's a consumable. They're buying the same product, so they lose their favourite ABC, whatever, lure. Shit, they go on their phone, they type in, they know exactly what they want. And then, some of those we're just starting with, because it was like, who wants to buy 2 or 3 of the same colour lure? So we did the entire Rapala lure range, and surprisingly, it's the 3 packs that go of the same colour. To create a bundle with different colours, oh man, we'd have millions of listings, because it becomes infinite then, and that is then, I think, going to confuse the customer. We do get it's a little bit annoying, but it's probably less than 5% that will buy the product and then go, can I have colour A, B and C instead of all colour D? It's like, you idiot, like 2 of them are out of stock to start with, but it's still worth doing. So to answer your question, from what I can gather now, how the eBay algorithm works, you're better off having standalone product, because again, in our category, you're looking for a size 4 ball sinker. You can see that it's 10, size 4 ball sinker, 10 pieces. And the image of the next one shows 2, 20 pieces, 3, 30, 60, 100, and it's the image that sells it, because people are flicking through that phone that quick. And again, with our products, because they're all branded, you can't sell, if everyone's selling something for, it'll be $19.95 to $24.95. It's not, no one's selling it for 50, no one's selling it for 5. So it works for our category. So I hope that answers a little bit.
Yeah. Any other questions, or we can just probably wrap it up there, I think. Yeah, thanks for all your time. Appreciate your insights. And enjoy the rest of Retail Fest.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks guys. If you want to hit me up later, I'll be floating around. Happy to have a chat.